Ciao, Rosie. We're back at it again. We're doing it all in bulk, if you can't tell. We're just gonna get started. Chapter 2. The Planting of English America. The West Indies. Way Station to Mainland America. Page 33. While the English were planting the first frail colonial shoots in the Chesapeake, they also were busily colonizing the islands of the West Indies. Spain, weakened by military overextension and distracted by its rebellious Dutch provinces, relaxed its grip on much of the Caribbean in the early 1600s. By the mid-17th century, England had secured its claim to several West Indian islands, including the large prize of Jamaica in 1655. Hold on. Okay, sorry, I had to hit pause. Couldn't breathe easily. I had something stuck in my throat. Anyway, sugar formed the foundation of the West Indian economy. What tobacco was to the Chesapeake, sugar cane was to the Caribbean, with one crucial difference. Tobacco was a poor man's crop. It could be planted easily, it produced commercial marketable leaves within a year, and it required only simple processing. Sugarcane, in contrast, was a rich man's crop. It had to be planted extensively to yield commercial viable quantities of sugar. Excessive planting, in turn, required extensive and arduous land clearing, and the cane stalks yielded their sugar only after an elaborate process of refining in a sugar mill. The need for land and for the labor to clear it and to run the mills made sugar cultivation a capital-intensive business. Only wealthy growers with abundant capital to invest could succeed in sugar. The sugar lords extended their dominion over the West Indies in the 17th century. To work their sprawling plantations, they imported enormous numbers of enslaved Africans, more than 250,000 in the 5 decades after 1640. By about 1700, enslaved blacks outnumbered white settlers in the English West Indies by nearly 4 to 1, and the region's population has remained predominantly black ever since. West Indies thus take their place among the numerous children of the African diaspora, the vast scattering of African peoples throughout the New World in the 3.5 centuries following Columbus's discovery. To control this large and potentially resistive slave population, English authorities devised formal codes that define the slaves' legal status and their masters' prerogatives. The notorious Barbados Slave Code of 1661 denied even the most fundamental rights of slaves and gave masters virtually complete control over their laborers, including the right to inflict vicious punishments for even slight infractions. The profitable sugar plantation system soon crowded out almost all other forms of Caribbean agriculture. The West Indies increasingly depended on the North American mainland for foodstuffs and other basic supplies, and smaller English farmers, squeezed out by the greedy sugar barons, began to migrate to the newly founded southern mainland colonies. A group of displaced English settlers from Barbados arrived in Carolina in 1617. They brought with them a few enslaved Africans as well as the model of the Barbados Slave Code, which eventually inspired statutes governing slavery throughout the mainland colonies. Statutes, not statues. Carolina officially adopted a version of the Barbados Slave Code in 1696, just as the West Indies had been a testing ground for the encomienda system that the Spanish had brought to Mexico and South America. So the Caribbean islands now served as a staging area for the slave system that would take root elsewhere in English North America. Ended on page 35. I don't know what is up in this one, but that part I just had the hardest time speaking, period. Still do. I think something's still stuck in my throat. Oh well. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!